Hello Philippines and hello world. Welcome to Business on the Go, a place where future billionaires come to get inspired. I am your host, Dina Abeliana. Today's interesting episode is about management functions in terms of organizations. With the help of our special guests, we'll be able to appreciate the benefits of organization as part of the management system. Without further ado, let's please welcome our first guest, Ms. Faith Enriquez.
Hello, so I'm your multimeter.
Now tell me, Ms. Faith, what are the decisional roles of a manager and how they spend their time?
As a manager, I fulfill myself in different roles every day. I find myself either leading a team, negotiating contracts, resolving conflicts. I can say that decision making is very critical to managerial function. So the first one is entrepreneur. I think most of you are already familiar with the word. So manager act as entrepreneurs because they find ways to make use of their resources and technologies. They're also the ones who innovate and are the ones who have ideas that upset the status quo. And like entrepreneurs, they face substantial risk. They think about what they are willing to invest, what they can afford to lose. They're also the ones who have the desire to grab that even small possibility for success. So second is disturbance hunters. They are the ones who respond or take control to unexpected problems. An example for this is when suppliers back out from a contract or when a major customer has gone bankrupt. They're the ones who act as judge and problem solvers. So third is the resource allocator. They're the ones who allocate their funds. And it isn't easy as that. We need to determine where organizational resources are best applied. Lastly is the negotiator. I think most of you are also familiar with this word. They are the ones who take part into negotiations. They are the ones who accommodate units or other organization. Take note that they negotiate supplies, materials, contracts, wages and conditions, and whatsoever. Also, I want to share how managers spend their time. So CEO usually devote themselves on communicating, whether it may be on scheduled or unscheduled meetings or on telephones. And managers also involved in activities like communicating, networking, HR management, and traditional management. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Faith. We have learned so much from you today. For deeper understanding about the management classifications, let us please welcome Ms. Mariah Talarok. Hi, Ms. Mariah. How are you feeling today?
Well, I am glad to say that I am feeling quite well for today.
So can you tell us more about the management classification?
So in the organization, there is always going to be a classification. So first, the top management. This is made up of higher level executives such as the CEO, CFO, CEO, and other specialties. So second is the middle management. This is where manager belongs, like plant managers, accounting managers, department head, and more. And lastly, supervisory management. This is where first line managers belong, or as we say, supervisors.
So Ms. Mariah, can you tell us more about the functional manager and the general manager?
So in this sector, function management, where we're going to base it upon your expertise and specialty. For instance, marketing students will be put and grouped in the same department, which is the sales and marketing department. Oh, I also forgot that line manager also report to a higher ranking manager. So this higher ranking manager is the general manager. A general manager rank above all employees but below corporate level executives. So general managers, they usually oversee collective operation that includes several functional management. Line managers and general managers possess certain managerial skills that qualifies them to be a manager. They possess conceptual skills that allows them to understand complex scenarios and develop creative ideas. Human relations skills is an ability of a manager to understand their employees and communicate effectively. And lastly is a technical skills. It's an ability of a manager to perform specific tasks such as to use tools, apply specialized knowledge, and to manage processes and technique.
Okay, so how about the management styles? Like, how does it work?
So the employees are going to be assigned a different management style managers. So they may be assigned an autocratic style managers. I don't really like this kind of manager because they make their decision based on their ideas and judgment and does not really allows their subordinates to have an opinion or suggestion.
Okay, Miss Mariah, with that being said, what is your favorite management styles? I'm sure the viewers would like to know.
So in my favorite management style, which is the democratic style, I love this style because the manager allows his or her employees have a suggestion or opinion on his decision right before he makes a decision making. So to my second favorite management style, I think many employees will love this kind of manager, which is the free reign style. So this type of manager does not really lead but allows his subordinates to make decisions. This is where the manager will function as an advisor. So that's all you need to know from me for this night.
Thank you for that, Miss Mariah. Management classification creates an order on how management performs. Now, let's talk about the nature of organization. Please welcome Ms. Marhama Bashir.
Hi, I am Princess Marhama Y. Bashir, and I am going to talk about nature of organization structure, design, and division of work.
Ms. Marhama, what is the goal of organizational structure and how does it help the management?
Goal of organizational structure is to formalize the alignment, arrangement, and hierarchy of positions inside a company. So there are 4 elements of organizational structure, and the first one is the assigning of duties and responsibilities that characterize the occupations of people and groups. And the second one is individual jobs are clustered into units, while units are clustered into departments and bigger units to form an organization's hierarchy. And the third one is the various mechanisms required to facilitate vertical top-to-bottom coordination. And the fourth one is the various mechanisms needed to foster horizontal across departments coordination, such as task force.
Thank you for that, Ms. Marhama. How about the organizational design and the division of work or labor? Why is it very important in a management?
Organization design is a term used to describe the process of designing an organizational structure, while organization charts aids in visualizing the structure. There are 3 approaches of job design. First one is job simplification, and the second one is job rotation, and the third one is job enlargement, vision of work. This is the essential driving force in an industrialization that outlines how organizational work is to be carried out.
Well, thank you for that, Ms. Marhama. I'm sure our viewers learned so much from you today. Our next guest will talk about the horizontal and vertical job specialization. Let's give a round of applause for Ms. Katia De Lima.
Good day everyone, I am Katia. So, horizontal and vertical job specialization. Horizontal job specialization is the result of dividing complicated tasks into a simpler job operation, reducing the scope of tasks. Horizontal job specialization is a management style in which several persons with equal authority are given oversight and over specific department or task. Vertical job specialization. It is a result from delegating responsibilities for the task and decision to subordinate, and it is a management style in which one manager has authority over other and accurate.
Thank you for that, Ms. Katia. And of course, along with that, we also have to understand what is bureaucracy and what is informal versus informal organization. Let's please welcome Ms. Claire Caballas.
Bureaucratic structures. So first off, what is bureaucracy? Bureaucracy is a formal organizational arrangement in which activities are rationally defined. 5 characteristics of modern bureaucracy. First, it fixed and official jurisdictions of authority. They are the rules and regulations that is governed in everything that is happening in an organization. And second, firmly established rational chain of command. It is structured in hierarchy like the narrow span of control, which is discussed in the previous topic. The third, qualified and thoroughly documented information. So they are like the units of a meeting Now let us proceed to formal organizations versus informal organizations. Formal organizations begins with the pre-planned patterns of authority and influence the planned authority of superior over subordinate. Informal organizations are concerned with the employee's sense of belongingness to an organization. It is created through their similarities among members, which also fills up the gap in an organization or a company.
Well, thank you for that, Miss Claire. We now understood what's informal and formal organization. Now let's move on to departmentalization to be tackled by Miss Kimberly Akaw.
So departmentalization. So when we say departmentalization, it is the process of splitting an organization into separate departments. So each of which perform tasks based on the department's expertise.
So which industry uses departmentalization? Is it applicable for all business?
So both public and private enterprises use departmentalization as a technique of organizing their operations.
We know that there are different approaches of departmentalization. So we would like to know what are these.
So there are 4 approaches of departmentalization. So first approach is the functional organization or the functional departmentalization. So when we say functional organization, it is where the company creates department based on their functions or on how they perform inside the company. The second approach is the product organization. So when we say product organization, it is type of departmentalization that is perfect for a large-scale company that deals with multi-product. So it groups all the activities that is related to delivery and development of products in a specific department. The third one is the geographic organization. So when we say the geographic departmentalization or organization, it ensures that a culture, a social, and a political need of a region is met. So the last approach is the customer organization or departmentalization. So when we say customer organization, it is where a company put its focus on customers' needs and wants. So it pays more attention to customer satisfactions to enhance the sales figure and brand image of the company.
Thank you for letting us understand about that, Ms. Kimberly. Our next speaker will talk about the formal organization. Let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Talia Quezon.
So good day everyone. I will be discussing to you the types of formal organization. Formal organization is a social system structured by clearly laid out rules, goals, and practices, and that functions based on the divisions of labor and a clearly defined hierarchy of the power. First one, we have line organization. So this is the basic framework for the whole organization because it represents a direct vertical relationship through which authority flows. So this is the simplest and oldest known as chain of command or scalar principle. So the authority flows from the top to the lower levels. So we have the second one, we have the line and staff organization. So decisions are made by specialists and experts of related field. So therefore, decision making is effective in this type of organization structure because of better coordination. So the third one, we have the functional organization. This is a common type of organizational structure in which the organization is divided into smaller groups based on their specialized functional areas.
Wow, Ms. Talia is very enthusiastic. I'm very excited about this next topic, which is committees. Why is it very important in an organization? Let's please welcome Ms. Princess Barakia.
A committee is a group of people who take the responsibility of managing a specific topic for an organization that is too complicated to be handled by a larger group to which they belong. Standing committee discuss such issues as finance, personnel, public relations, or program evaluations. It is also meet an ongoing basis to manage a recurring or regular issue. Ad hoc or short-term committee are created to deal with specific issue and are disbanded after the task is completed. Three basic committee functions. Number one, coordinating. Enables communication, integration of various departments and activities that are interrelated. Example, new product and planning committee. Number two, advising. Provides advice or make recommendation to management. Example, university faculty, budget committee, and advisory council. Number 3, decision making. Make decisions and see to it that they are carried out. Example, corporate board of directors, bank loan committee, and executive compensation committee.
Thank you, Ms. Princess. Our next speaker is Mr. Jade Pirocho. He will be talking about the delegation in the organization. Let's take a warm welcome to Mr. Jade.
Delegation. This is involved the partial distribution of authority to subordinates for making decision or performing tasks. First, we have personal assistance. Personal assistant is a minimum authority is delegated where subordination act as an advisor. Second, we have the participative assistant. Participative assistant is a subordinates are involved in decision where their expertise is needed. Third, we have a joint decision making. Joint decision making is a committees are used and superior consider recommendation. And we have the reason for delegating authority. First, we have the managerial overload. Managerial overload is a limited transfer of authority relieves operation pressure. Second, we have the need of expertise. Need of expertise is a specialization is needed in so many situations that no one person can successfully handle decision across the breadth of the company. And we have the guideline for effective delegation. First, we have the secret of delegation is determining what each member of a work unit can do. So, carefully choose the subordinates who should take on a project. Usually, it is someone immediately below you in the corporate hierarchy.
In an organization or a business, it is very important to know the compensation of the workers. It is a monetary value of the worker in exchange for their work. So let us further understand about this with Miss Karen.
Compensation. When we talk about compensation, it is all about salary, benefits, wages, and payments. And there are lots of types of compensation. For example, bonuses, tips, wages, hourly wages, salaries, and also benefits. And there are major types of compensation. And these are the direct, indirect compensation, and non-financial compensation. So I will give the example for the major types of compensation. So here, this is the compensation. It is all about the indirect compensation. And indirect compensation, it is the payment or bonuses of the employee. And indirect compensation, it is all about your benefits, like for example, PhilHealth, SSS, that is your benefit to your compensation. And the non-financial compensation, it is the coaching, awards, or for example, working. That is the non-financial compensation. And as I understand about the compensation also, it is depends on the employee, because there are some employees are lower than the other employees is higher. So that's why the salary or benefits to the employee is also depending on their performance. And that's all.
So, in an organization, it is very important that we know what questions to be asked. So, Mr. Aljairo Abidin is here to teach us how to conduct an effective interview.
The personal interview is your opportunity to get to know your potential workers better. You'll go deeper into the abilities and requirements you listed on your resume. The interview primarily allows you to gauge intangibles like passion, initiative, goals, cultural fit, attitudes, and communication skills. There are guidelines for an effective interview that must be prepared before and during an interview. Before an interview, the secret for an effective interview is in the preparation. And what I mean in the preparation is you need to determine the job requirements. Prepare a list of characteristics that the person will need to possess in order to perform the job. Prepare a written interview guide, like plan the questions that assess the degree to which job candidates possess the characteristic necessary for the job. The last thing you should do before an interview is review the candidate's application form or resume. This will give you familiarity to the applicant's particular experience and accomplishments that are most relevant to the requirements of the job. After you follow the guidelines before the interview, there are also guidelines during the interview in order to maintain control of the dialogue during the interview. During an interview, first is you need to help ease the applicant's fears. Before you ask the tough questions, make eye contact and develop rapport by finding a common topic to discuss. Review your resume and phone screen notes ahead of time so you may draw on some personal information. Second is ask open-ended questions. Prepare questions ahead of time and ask all respondents the same basic questions so you can compare responses later. Prepare to improvise in response to various reactions. You can go over several possible what-if scenarios and think about how you will respond to each one. If your applicant is bashful and delivers vague answers, seek further information. Why did you leave your previous position is an example of a question. Third is listen more than you speak. Listen carefully because the interview is primarily about the applicant. Take note of nonverbal signs including posture, alertness, clothing, and personal grooming. Check to see if they have done their research on your company. Allow time for the candidate to ask you questions at the end of the interview. You can share information about the organization, describe your management style, and even sell the position. Make a note of just about everything. When you are doing many interviews, it is difficult to keep track of candidate responses. So make good notes and keep them structured so you can review them afterwards.
Know that staffing is very important in an organization. Let us understand more why is it very essential. Let us please welcome Ms. Diana May Roa.
Thank you, Ms. Dina. So, human resources is where it continuous process of future needs for employees in different jobs. Also, forecasting which process the estimating availability of human resources. Staffing. Staffing includes the set of activities aimed for attracting and selecting individual within organization recruitment, screening, and selection. Recruitment is the process of finding, identifying, attracting, interview, and hiring employees. It involves everything from identification of a staffing need to filling it. It can conducted internal and external. So, internal recruitment can be used in conjunction with a promotion of policy, while external recruitment is the process of identifying potential outside candidates who are willing to apply for and accept positions within an organization. Lastly is selection. Selection is a process of choosing the most outstanding applicants, like qualified person for a specific goal who can successfully deliver important contributor in an organization.
Because the organization is very important in a management. It helps your employees to get productive, it increases your revenue, and it cut down risk. It's time to wrap up the show. Thank you for our lovely guests for joining us today. Thank you for lending some of your time. Viewers, thank you so much for coming today. We all appreciate your presence. Join us next week for another episode. This is Business on the Go, and I am your host, Dina Jabliana, a place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Thank you.